Big fan of what you're doing over there. I'm an SEC guy, and one of the only schools I don't hate is South Carolina. And you got my boy Steps over there. So I've been mildly rooting for you guys, and that's a big deal for me. So congratulations on the big win this weekend.
I appreciate it. It means a lot. The feeling's mutual. I listen to you all the time, so cool to be on with you.
Thanks, man. A couple things. One, if you would have lost, would you have canceled? That was the big debate here.
No. For you, no.
Okay, because I said
once I give my word to somebody, I stick to it.
All right. A couple things that I was thinking this weekend while watching the game. When A&M recovers that onside kick, because I got a lot of game questions and a lot of general questions, but when A&M recovers the onside kick, and I know you got to have a poker face or a coach's face, what are you really thinking when they cross it up and now they're down one possession with the ball?
I'm thinking you've got to be effing kidding me right now. Honestly, it was one of those. They got a perfect hop on it, and I mean, good credit to them. But it was kind of like one of those. Had great confidence in our defense going out there, but it was one of those. We just kept letting them hang around, and we had plenty of opportunities to put that game away. And it was like, man, we really let it come down to this. And then I was thinking about how bad it was that the series before we weren't able to convert a 4th and 1 to just end the game right then and there.
When you look back at the very first play of the game, which I was watching as well, and it was a kickoff return for a touchdown. Do you try to show unbridled emotion ever? I mean, or are you all like, I just wonder what's happening in your guts while big stuff's happening like that.
No, I try to, I got to be me. And certainly you want to maintain poise and all that on the sidelines as the head coach. But I really, truly just love seeing our players have success and love watching them play. And the environment in that stadium was off the charts. So I was super emotional and super excited, but you also can't lose sight of you got a job to do and there's a long way to go and what's next. And we just ran this kickoff back for a touchdown, and now we got to get our kickoff team out there to go cover a kickoff and things like that as well.
I'd have been going crazy. You ever been so excited you peed a little? I think because it's happened to me. Like really, you just jump and like maybe you're a little sick. Has that ever happened to you?
Probably so. I've had a lot of different emotions as well, so I can't say that happened to me Saturday night, but I'm sure it has at some point.
I'm curious about a culture change because you go into South Carolina, very familiar with the program, and it's what they were looking for when they hired you. But when you're starting from scratch, like when you go in as a head coach, how do you start from scratch with an entire culture?
Yeah, for me, it was coming in here and. For me, you got to get to know the people and know who you're working with and what they're about. So the very first thing I did was, before I hired a staff and, I was in the process of it, but the very first thing I did was just start meeting individually with every single player on this team. And I got hired mid-December, I guess, or late December and before Christmas. And then right after Christmas, met with every player on the team in my office. They just came in here and sat down with them, tell me about yourself, where you're from, tell me about your family, why'd you choose South Carolina, what are your goals, just finding out as much as you can about them as people and connecting with people that way. I mean, to me, that's how you start. And then you just build from there. And for me, it's being very consistent and genuine in what we talk about and not saying one thing and doing another. And I know it's cliche, but I think our players in this program would tell you that they know we care about them as people first and foremost and before anything.
When you hear that you're up for the job at South Carolina, do you hear that or do you hear they want you for the job at South Carolina?
Both, you hear your name, but I knew there was enough support here from some people within the program, but one thing that helped me, Bobby, was the fact that I was here as an assistant coach and had relationships with former players. So when people like Melvin Ingram and Stephon Gilmore and former players, Connor Shaw, players like that, or Marcus Lattimore speaking out publicly on your behalf, you're going to be in the mix. But there were a lot of people that were interested in this job, and I was coaching in Oklahoma and had a job to do during that time. But certainly, I think it was a combination of both. And as when I interviewed, I felt really good about it coming out of the interview and how that went, and it all worked out in the end.
So you're South Carolina. You're starting to win a little bit. You guys are 5-2, and it's been cool to watch you guys. And do you feel like you've gotten better during the season, or do you feel like that your players have understood what you're trying to do as the season goes? Because again, Arkansas, I'm from Arkansas, obviously. We played you guys and we beat you early, but I feel like you guys are so much better now than you were even earlier this year.
Yeah, we are. We had a lot of injuries that have hit us even since that Arkansas game, and we have gotten better. We're a different football team. We weren't physical enough that day against Arkansas and out in Fayetteville. We've gotten better on the line of scrimmage, and we talk about that all the time. It's just improving during the season and constantly trying to get better. And even after the big Kentucky win a couple weeks ago, we had the off week 2 weeks ago, and then we played Texas A&M, and I really feel like we got better as a football team during the off week, and then we got better as a football team during the Texas A&M week as well. It'll be critical for us this week as well to continue to get better. But we got a really good group of guys that love to work and love to practice, and that's how that's how you get better. And we talk about it all the time that after that Kentucky win, we said it would be a real shame if we're the same team 6 weeks from now than we were after Kentucky. Like, we got to get better as a team, and I do feel like we are.
Whenever you have a big win like this past week against A&M, you go back and you do the big celebration, that you talk to your team, it's all a big party. But then because I'll do a show, like if I do a theater show, I do stand-up, and everybody's like, oh, look at you, Bobby's awesome. And I go back to my room, and I'm like, well, this sucks, and I'm lonely. But you go back home, and I'm assuming, like, can you go to sleep that night? Like, what, are you just adrenaline pumping all night long?
Yeah, it's hard. Adrenaline's pumping all night long, so the game ends, talk to the team, then I go down the hall and I do the post-game press conference, and that's 20, 25 minutes. And then I go right back down the hall, and I do post-game radio show with Todd Ellis, our radio play-by-play guy. And then jump in the shower, change clothes, and walk and go tape the weekly coaches show. So, I mean, it's late before you get home. So, I mean, I think that game the other night ended probably around 11 o'clock or whatever. I mean, it was close to 1 a.m., 1:30 before I got to the house. And you're like emotionally spent, but the adrenaline's pumping as well. So I stayed up.
Yeah, you eat, you watch something. Oh, you watch the game? You it's not like you turn Hulu on, you watch the game tape immediately?
No, I'm not that crazy. Like, I need a break, but for me, it's just kind of going home, and usually kids are asleep, and it's probably just me by myself when I get home, but I'll just sit on the couch and maybe watch highlights of games from that day or what else happened in the SEC and things like that. But I stayed up for, I don't know, an hour or two when I got home the other night and tried to go to sleep because you are emotionally worn out and spent. But then it's wake right back up on Sunday morning and back in the office Sunday morning and right back to work.
Dang. Eddie, you want to say, Coach Beamer?
I do. Coach, I want to ask you, how much does your job consist of not just coaching football to your players, but being a father figure to them? Like, do they come to you and sit down and be like, Coach, I'm dating this girl, man. I just don't know if I like her. Like, do you have conversations like that with your players?
I do. And that's like and honestly, it's probably my favorite part of the job. I mean, I love coaching, don't get me wrong, but I always enjoyed as an assistant coach having really great relationships with everybody on the team, but you're really focused on your position group, the tight ends you coach or the running backs or whatever it might be. And I love the fact that I'm the head coach now and can have those relationships with 120 guys on our football team, and that they feel comfortable coming in my office and talking about that. So, yeah, we have those conversations all the time. School, girls, something going on back home with a family member, whatever it may be. And I want them to feel comfortable talking to me about that. And that's a big part of it as well. I mean, to me, that's the culture, and our players, no one, not just with me, but all of our coaches and staff, that we got their backs and we're here for them in every which way.
What kind of guy is Rattler?
He's awesome. He really is. He, I mean, I guess I've never seen it. I guess there was a Netflix show when he was in high school that they can make anybody look any way they want on a reality type TV show that he may have gotten a bad rap on, but he's fantastic. I mean, and I knew that before he came in here because I spent 2 years with him together. 2 years with him in Oklahoma when I was there in Norman, and knew what kind of person he was. But he's awesome. He's one of those guys when he got here, he didn't come in here and it wasn't a, I'm Spencer Rattler and look at me and all this stuff. He just came in here and worked his butt off and tried to earn the respect of his teammates, and he has. And he's earned the respect of his teammates, I think, because of the kind of person he is, but just his work ethic. Like, he grinds and really works and doesn't care about stats. I mean, he's just into into winning football games. So I love him, and he's been fantastic for us on and off the field.
Does it help you in recruiting that you look 25? I mean, honestly, I mean, you go into a house and, you know, you're not a 70-year-old dude. That's probably got to help that you talk and look similar age to the players, right?
I think so. I don't feel it, so I'm glad you said that. I appreciate it. But no, I think I think it helps being able to relate to them and being able to connect with them, whether it be the kids you're recruiting or the players on your own team. Just being able to relate and have that connection with them as well. So I try and stay up to date on what they're listening to and what they're watching and what's going on in their world and things like that. And they do a good job of keeping me informed as well. So certainly doesn't hurt, but you know, I'll take any angle I can.
All right. Just absolute truth here. You ever sneak and put the pads on again and just walk around and be like, just because I would relive. I mean, nobody needs to be around. Like, just kind of relive it sometimes. Be like, this is what it was like for me back in the day.
I think you get a dose of that. Like when you're on the practice field each day and you're out there for 2 hours and you're getting to run around and be a part of it and still compete, but not really. I mean, I got, you know, old stuff at home, like helmets and baseball helmets when I played baseball in high school and things like that. And I can't say I put the pads on, I'll be honest with you. I have been known to maybe try on a helmet that I wore back in the day and see how that fits and all that. But no, maybe I should, but I can't say I've done that.
I was looking at some of the people that you have coached under and worked under, from, you know, Coach O'Leary at Georgia Tech, Coach Spurrier, your dad, obviously, Lincoln Riley. Who is a mentor to you that's a generation older that you could call and go, hey, I'm kind of experiencing this. Can you give me some of that knowledge, some wisdom?
Yeah. You know, it helps to be able to, obviously, as my dad, be able to reach out to him as well. But beyond that, honestly, when I was at Mississippi State, I worked for Sylvester Croom, and first African-American coach in the SEC, going into the College Football Hall of Fame in December. He's awesome. And, somebody coached NFL, coached college, head coach at Mississippi State. And he's somebody that I, you know, certainly can reach out to at any time and still value his opinion and value what he says and still hear from him, like I said, regularly as well. So he'd be the first guy to jump to mind. And there's a lot of guys, active coaches, retired coaches, that I certainly value their opinion and have been known to reach out for their input also.
All right, final 3 questions, Coach Beamer. I want to lay out a scenario to you. This happened to me. I want to go back to my high school football days, and I know you look at me and go pure athlete, and you probably would have recruited me based on just my wealth of knowledge of the game. But my senior year in high school, I was captain, obviously, and we go out, and I just remember it's a very motivating pregame speech. My coach is like, "We're gonna go." I didn't play much defense. I know you look at me, probably linebacker. I was more of a wide receiver type guy, but he was like, "We're gonna go out. We're gonna shut them down, and, you know, we're gonna kick, whatever." That's all I hear. Now, it's a pretty smart guy. Go out, they flip the coin, they win the toss, and they defer. And I go, we're going to kick. Now, how this works is if they defer, we have to receive, or that means we're kicking at the beginning of the game, and then we kick again at halftime. But the ref was like, are you sure? I go, we're going to kick. I was fired up. It was too emotional. I came out of the locker room. Coach is ready to go. We're going to shut him down. And he goes, are you sure? I said, yeah. He goes, okay. And so they said, they've deferred. They're going to kick. And they're also going to kick at halftime. And so I walk up the field, and my head coach grabs me by the face mask, and he said, you might be the smartest player to ever play for me, but that's the dumbest blanking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And we lost by 6, if I'm being honest. We lost by 6 that game. We only lost 2 games the whole year. That was 1. 1, have you ever had anyone do anything like that? And 2, what would you have done to me if you were my coach?
To me, to be honest with you, I would put that on me. If you made that mistake, I did a poor job of preparing you to go out there to the coin toss, because obviously you weren't coached up well enough on that one. I don't think I have, but we tried. I don't think I've been involved in that, but certainly, I can understand, because the coach had you so amped up. It's an honest mistake. But no, we actually, before about 9 minutes until kickoff, when we're in the locker room, I actually get with the captains and go through. Here's exactly what's going to happen. If we win the toss, we're going to do this, you know, and you always worry about they win and defer. And then you say, well, we want to kick off here as well. So I make sure and say, now, look, if they win the toss and they defer, we're going to take the ball. And thankfully, the SEC officials, they're pretty good about not letting letting somebody screw it up if they got caught in that situation. But you're always worried about it, so I can understand why it happened. And to me, you were just doing what your coach told you to do.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen that happen though in any game on any level?
We'll
go with no.
I don't think so.
Thanks, Coach. Yeah.
There was one of those NFL games a while back when it was somebody did something and I don't know. I want to say that they kind of made a mistake at the coin toss, but I can't say, Bobby, but I'm sure it happened.
Thanks,
I don't think
for making
he's
me
been
feel
the only
good.
one.
Yeah, he'd have taken the blame. I like that. I'm just going to blame Coach Beamer now on. All right, Coach, looking ahead. Listen, we're 5-2. I really like South Carolina because I've been to some games out there, and the fans are extremely nice. And this is my theory. In Arkansas, we don't have pro teams. Like, everything revolves around the Arkansas Razorbacks. So I grew up, and that's my team regardless, live or die. And I assume a lot of the South Carolina fans are like that too, and they're awesome fans. As you're going forward this season, like, what is the goal for you guys as you finish SEC play and even regular season here?
Yeah, I know it's cliche, but really it's just continue to get better. And you're exactly right. We got an unbelievable home field advantage, unbelievable environment, great fans, because there are no pro sports here in South Carolina like Arkansas. So we got a big challenge, 4 SEC games left, and then Clemson. We got a lot to work on and get better at. But that's the thing for us, is just continue to get better, just continue to try and improve and be the very best team we can be by the end of the season. And we're on the right track. We got some awesome kids that are playing their butts off right now. We just got to keep going in the right direction.
I hope you beat the crap out of Clemson. I can't wait for it. I hope you beat the crap out of Clemson. And just don't let. Okay, my final question, because I hope you beat the crap out of Clemson. So if you're playing a team, and let's say you're up 25 or 30, and this is just a general question about coaching, do you either pump the brakes because you like the coach or hit a little harder because you don't? Does that ever happen?
You want the politically correct answer, or do you want the truth?
I tell you what would be for me is I would probably go, if it were even, I would probably go, you know what, if I'm in this situation, I don't want someone to take care of me, even if I didn't even know the coach. But if it was somebody who was just a total D-bag, I would be like, I'm going to show you why you don't be a D-bag to me or my friends. That's what I would do. I don't know if you're similar, Coach, but anything you'd like to shed on that?
No, first of all, I need to be in those situations more where I have that opportunity or that decision to make. We haven't been in enough of them, but I think there's there's a healthy respect, and you've got respect for the other person on that sideline always, and want to do right by them. They have a program, they have players, they have families, all that stuff as well, and you want to have the respect of your peers. That's really important to me. Also, I haven't said that if you, for whatever reason, feel disrespected or something maybe going on in that game that isn't right, whatever it may be, certainly the competitive juices get flowing and things like that as well. So, there's a great healthy respect in this league amongst coaches, and we've got to continue to try and put ourselves in positions where we can be in those situations and have those decisions to make. We haven't been in enough of them yet.
I hear you. There are a few coaches who I'd really stick it to if I got a chance. Oh my
we
goodness!
Can tell.
I know. I'd really let them have it.
Yeah,
hey, Coach,
can I come on again so we can talk about who those guys are?
After the season, absolutely. Hey, Coach,
right.
Really, just a big fan of what you're doing with that program, just in general. I think you are a great example to a lot of young coaches out there and how you do things. And I have some friends that work over in that administration at University of South Carolina, and they love you. And I appreciate the time and continue. And I'm rooting for you guys, Coach. So thank you very much.
No, it means a lot. I appreciate you saying that. I'm surrounded by some awesome people here at Carolina, and blessed to be here and blessed to be around great players, and big fan of yours. So come see us in Columbia, and hope to be on again soon.
All right, Coach. Thanks, man.
You bet. Thank y'all.